This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. A survey of Sarasota County residents released just this week cites development and traffic as the two biggest issues in our area. Tonight, we look at both sides embodied in one project, the Siesta Promenade. Benderson Development is planning the mixed-use project for the corner of US 41 and Stickney Point Road. It will include up to 500 apartments and condos, a hotel and retail space, all on a 24-acre lot. Florida's Department of Transportation warns the area already has considerable traffic problems, and that has been echoed by residents. We'll have one more on the project coming up, but first, here is the top 7 stories making news at 7. As we mentioned, for the third year in a row, development ranks as the top concern of Sarasota County residents. That's according to the annual Sarasota County Citizen Opinion Survey conducted by the University of South Florida. Not only does development rank as #1 concern, it ranks #1 by 7% more than it did last year, sparking a debate about what smart growth looks like.
This new survey shows that people much more even than a year ago are concerned about traffic gridlock and the bad impacts that uncontrolled development can have on our quality of life.
We don't want to stop growth. When you stop growing, you die. So we want to grow, but we want to maintain the unique, wonderful characteristics of Sarasota, and we want to create a vibrant community.
The economy was the second most cited concern in the survey, coming in at 7%. Sarasota's Amish and Mennonite communities are making room for more visitors. Sarasota's County Commission is approving plans for a new hotel in the Pinecraft neighborhood. The Dutchman Hospitality Group needed zoning approval for the more than 100-room hotel known as the Carlisle Inn. It will be located just behind the Dear Dutchman restaurant on Beja Vista. No word yet when construction will begin. It doesn't look like a new hotel will be going up in Longboat Key anytime soon. Last week, residents voted down a referendum allowing a developer to move forward with a plan to build the North End Hotel and Beach Club along Gulf of Mexico Drive. The developer says at this time he does not plan to pursue the project. Big changes could be coming to Fruitville Road between 41 and 301. A new proposal would eliminate the bike lanes on that stretch of road. Sarasota is considering two $9 million alternatives. The first plan is to widen the sidewalks. The second would add 3 roundabouts at the intersections of Fruitville at Coconut Central and Lemon, allowing for the sidewalks to be widened to 16 feet. Some bicycle enthusiasts like the bike lanes right where they are.
Fruitville Road is the only, perhaps with the exception of University Parkway, the only road we have for bicyclists to travel east-west.
Our analysis and traffic studies have shown that there are few bicyclists utilizing this corridor today. And the ones that do generally are only on the corridor for short periods of time.
The city of Sarasota will hold a public hearing on this before it is presented to commissioners. An arrest has been made after an incident involving a child bitten multiple times by another child in a Bradenton daycare. Casey Burke has been charged by the Manatee Sheriff's Office with 1 count of child neglect. The day of the incident, Burke was responsible for approximately 5 children whom she left unsupervised for several hours. Burke has been terminated by Jay's Bright Learners Daycare. The infant, but the victim is no longer at the daycare.
And it's one thing if you go get a drink of water, you go to the restroom, but this was an extended period of time where she wasn't in charge of these children, and that's when the biting took place.
Burke is the only staff member charged, though the state attorney's office and the Department of Children and Families are both investigating. The city of Venice is firing its finance director after just a few months on the job. Walt Pierce was fired after a probationary period without cause or right to appeal. As finance director, Pierce was responsible for the city budget and money management. City manager Ed Lavalle approved the termination and says Pierce was overwhelmed with the large city budget.
He tried and we tried, and the sophistication of this department is a little bit challenging between the enterprise funds, the grants management function, and procurement. So that department has a big umbrella, lots of challenges, and we just felt it was in our collective best interest to move on and try someone else.
Pierce was hired away by the city in May. The city will be looking for a replacement immediately. Sarasota is earning a top honor for bringing sports competitors from around the world. The county's Parks, Recreation, and Natural Resources Department received the Excellence in Sports Tourism Award at the Florida Recreation and Park Association Annual Conference in Orlando. Around 80 sporting events were held in Sarasota County facilities last year, which brought in more than $33 million. Athletes from around the world are coming to the Suncoast to take part in competitions at Nathan Benderson Park, the renovated BMX track, and other facilities. And Bob, I know them because, baseball is a big sports tourism around here as well.
Lots to do here, weather dependent, obviously, and looks like things are looking pretty good for outdoor activities right now. Although there's some isolated storms that are around producing a few lightning strikes. Alan, we have a look at that on the radar picture up near northwest Bradenton approaching Cortez. One lone cell there. There's been a few spotty showers moving through parts of downtown Sarasota, Lido, and Longboat earlier, but there's the lightning now occurring in the western portion of Manatee County near northwest Bradenton. Also, near Palmasola, all the way toward Holmes Beach. That rain moderate to heavy. Whitney Beach and Coquina getting some rainfall now, so be careful there. And elsewhere, isolated showers well east of the interstate, pushing off to the west. We'll keep a 30% chance for a few passing showers in the mix through this evening. That dry air is still around. It was expected to be a little bit less than that, but that's the reason why we're seeing just limited shower activity today. I think some of that moisture located on the map in that light blue and aqua, where we'll eventually move on in tomorrow, give us a better chance for scattered storms. Right now it's cooled to 87 after a high today of 95 degrees today. It was actually hotter in the nation's capital than it was here, Alan. 73 on the dew point, winds out of the south-southwest at 6, and the pressure now 29.99 inches, and that is starting to rise somewhat. You can see the cloudiness located east of the Bahamas. That's a trough of low pressure. We'll have to keep an eye on that. No real threat of it developing anything tropical at this point. And the evening forecast looks like this. A few passing showers right up and through 9 o'clock, and then staying pretty warm, 81 degrees at 11 o'clock. We'll have more on the forecast and the tropics coming up a little bit later. Alan will show you a couple of systems we are watching there in the Atlantic.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, hundreds of condos and apartments, a hotel and retail space, all on 24 acres. It's called the Siesta Promenade, and the development has residents worried. Find out why when we come back.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
Plus, New South windows are made in Florida.
Ford Florida Homes.
By Florida workers. Because we know Florida weather.
Bring your measurements this Saturday from 9 to 4 to get huge discounts. New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Attention breast cancer survivors. If you experience permanent hair loss or baldness after chemotherapy, you may qualify for a cash award. Thousands of women suffering breast cancer were given a chemotherapy drug without being warned about the possibility of irreversible alopecia. If you or a loved one suffered permanent hair loss after chemotherapy, call 888-622-8732. Time to file a claim is limited. 888-622-8732. That's 888-622-8732.
Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Hi, I'm George Foreman. People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can provide patent referrals and submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-890-1946. That's 1-800-890-1946.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
According to a new survey, the top two concerns of Sarasota residents are development and traffic. Those concerns are embodied in one new project, the Siesta Promenade. Here's ABC7's Adam Cellini.
This property at the corner of US 41 and Stickney Point Road recently took its largest step towards development to date after Benderson officially submitted a rezoning application to Sarasota County. However, along the way, they've attracted some negative attention from Florida Department of Transportation, worried about the already congested and dangerous traffic in this corridor. For nearly a decade, Benderson Development Company has struggled to find the best way to capitalize on cars making this turn from US 41 to Stickney Point Road. But those cars are the reason FDOT has reached out to Sarasota County before they consider a large project for the corner.
Our concerns for the site is what density is going to be approved at that location, and then our concern would be to provide reasonable access to the site that doesn't affect the operational and safety of the roadway.
Benderson's final site plan for its Siesta Promenade project includes 500 apartments, 150 hotel rooms, and 140,000 square feet of retail, all at an intersection where FDOT says the PM peak level of service is an F.
The actual design is nice. The density is horrible.
Susan and Howard Bridgman live in the nearby Pine Shores neighborhood. They're pleased to see FDOT back up their own traffic objections with some facts.
We're quite amazed, actually, that somebody has said something that is negative that the neighborhood already knows and feels.
In a preemptive letter to county staff, FDOT warned crashes at the intersection have increased 175% between 2010 and 2014. And in May, they informed County Transportation Planning Manager Paula Wiggins that access to the commercial properties across the street was already an issue. But Wiggins told them that the county can't restrict any development based on traffic.
I hope the commissioners will just think, is this somewhere that they could deal with in their neighborhood?
Beechwood Avenue, just north of the Bridgman's home, will be the closest light anyone in Siesta Promenade could use to head north on 41 without making a U-turn. And those cars will likely take Crestwood Avenue to get there, passing a church, community center, and elementary school.
You have a busy pedestrian zone, a school zone, and you have a lot of seniors who cross here over in the morning to the church activities.
Benderson Director of Development Todd Mathis says all traffic concerns were carefully considered in their site plan, limiting neighborhood access to one road and featuring only one-way entrances from Stickney and 41.
All we're proposing is right-in, right-out access. We're not proposing any median cuts or full cuts like we were initially proposing with the project based on the DOT feedback. So that's a very safe movement for both the shopping center and residents who live here.
And since FDOT is considering their own curb and signal improvements for the intersection, he doesn't think the letter's warning will derail the project.
While there's an increase in accidents, there's actually a decrease in injuries. So we're not quite sure why those accidents are happening. We do believe DOT's consultant and their planned improvements are going to address those accident concerns they have today, and that our project really doesn't relate to that at all.
Several residents, including the Bridgmans, would be comfortable with the project if Benderson scaled back the density from 8-story buildings to townhouses that blend easier with the neighborhood. But on that, the company won't budge.
We're very confident that's the right number for this project. It's not overly dense. It's certainly not the sort of density you're seeing being built downtown, but we're still in the urban core here, and it's the right kind of density to build for a project like this so close to Siesta Key.
A public hearing to consider that rezoning request is scheduled for October 11th. And while there still will be several steps in the public process before shovels can hit the ground, an October approval would perhaps be the largest in allowing Benderson to build as dense and as tall as they proposed for this property. In Sarasota, Adam Cellini, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Our roundtable when we come back.
Stop living with hair loss, that is. Losing your hair is no fun and no one wants to be bald, but there is hope.
Getting my hair back was the best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm happy with the way I look now. I'm very excited about my hair.
I feel beautiful.
I love my hair.
Hair Club offers all proven hair loss solutions backed by our commitment to satisfaction guarantee. If you're not 100% satisfied with the solution you choose, Hair Club will apply the purchase price to another proven hair loss solution or transplant more hair at no charge.
That was the best thing I've ever done.
It looks good on me.
Call in the next 5 minutes to get your free brochure at no obligation. It will tell you everything you need to know about your hair loss problem, and it's free if you call now.
I am more pleased than what I had even imagined.
I at least look, I would say, 5 years younger.
I'm 52, and I look better now than I did when I was in my 40s.
I feel great.
And that's not all. The first 100 people who call will also receive $250 off any hair loss solution from Hair Club. Call now.
US Med has great news for anyone living with diabetes.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, US Med will ship a new glucose meter right to your home.
And shipping is free.
My new meter uses only a speck of blood, so it's less painful than my previous meter.
If you have Medicare, private insurance, or prescription drug coverage, you're covered with US Med. We're welcoming new patients, even if your current provider can't supply you anymore.
I don't even have to test on my fingers anymore. I can test on my hand or forearms, and it's more accurate than my old meter.
So call US Med today, and you'll have a choice of 2 great meters.
One that actually speaks your results, or a meter so small it fits in the bottle of strips.
Act now, and US Med will include a free prescription discount card. We'll also send you a free diabetes cookbook. This is your opportunity.
So call US Med today.
You'll be glad you did.
They took that stress and that tension when I was particularly feeling very bad after that nasty car accident, and it was such a relief to know that I didn't have to bear that burden alone, that I had help.
Our goal is to not just get a satisfactory settlement on their case. We want them up on their feet, happy again. They've gotten their life back.
Joining us for more on tonight's topic is Todd Mathis, the Director of Development at Benderson Development. And joining us by Skype is Sora Kochman, an organizer for the Pine Shores Neighborhood Alliance. Thank you both for joining us tonight. You know, obviously there is a great deal of concern about traffic in and around that area. And it's just human nature to see that and then, you know, talk about adding so many more permanent residents in a hotel and retail space. That's going to have an impact on a traffic situation that is already not good.
Sure. So, you know, we're well aware of the intersection of Stickney Point and 41. We've owned the property for 10 years. I live locally. We all live locally at Benderson. You know, and so we're very familiar with the intersection. We've been trying to right-size the project for those 10 years. We think we've hit the right mix here. You know, we're proposing a very small shopping center component, one that's very much oriented toward the residents in the community that we'd be building and the residents who live behind us. So we're very confident we can fit in the intersection and make it work well for everyone, but we also know that DOT in Sarasota County, they'll exercise a lot of scrutiny and make sure that it fits at the end of the day when they make recommendations.
And the residents are also obviously heavily involved. Sora, you've lived in this area for a while. What have you seen over the last few years in terms of the increase in terms of traffic problems in that area?
Well, let's be clear. The house that I am residing in is my childhood home, so I have been in the area for 60 years. And I have seen traffic go from bearable to totally unbearable. Our big concern over this project is the height, is the density. Benderson is asking for double what they are allowed in that zone, and that is of a great concern to us.
Well, Sora, let me ask you this, because there seems to be two different objections there. That is the density and the traffic or extra traffic that would cause, but also the height of the project. Is part of the objection the visibility of the project from the road and neighbors?
Well, let's be clear, the rendering that has been shown in the paper as well as on your program, that is not what is facing 41 or Stickney Point. Those residential high-rises are in the neighborhood. They are not on 41 and Stickney Point. So they will be towering over the neighborhood. The privacy of everybody that lives on Glencoe and Beechwood and Elmwood, because these units are almost 9 stories high.
But that,
if you include the architectural element.
right, but that's a different issue.
Balconies overlooking homes.
Right, but that's a different issue than traffic concerns.
Well, they go hand in hand. When you're going to reduce density, your height will follow. Unless you intend on lowering your density and just having all 1-bedrooms in there, which then it would not address the density. So depending on which way Benderson decides to develop it, I don't believe there is a set plan yet. I understand, and I have spoken to Todd, that they are in some discussions with developers on what really will be put there.
All right, sir, let's just take a short break. We're going to have more on our roundtable tonight, but first we'll be back in a minute after we check on our Suncoast forecast.
40 Carrots Family Center and the Community Foundation of Sarasota County present a free speaker event, The Gift of Failure, How the Best Parents Learn to Let Go So Their Children Can Succeed, featuring author and educator Jessica Leahy at Hyatt Regency Sarasota on Monday, September 12th. Discover how to motivate kids to learn for the sake of learning. Wean kids off rewards, bribes, and parental reminders, and approach parenting as a journey toward competence. RSVP required at 40carrots.org. That's FORTY carrots.org.
If you want 24/7 access to ABC7's breaking news stories, weather forecasts, traffic alerts, health reports, dining segments, local events, Suncoast View, and more ABC7 specialty programming, now there's good news. Introducing the free ABC7 channel on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Your 24/7 access to ABC7. Just search ABC7 on your streaming device and download your free ABC7 app now.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Using baby powder or talc may lead to ovarian cancer. $72 million was awarded in a recent talc lawsuit after lawyers found secret internal documents showing that the baby powder manufacturer knew about the link between talcum powder and ovarian cancer for decades, but never told the public. If you were diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using talcum powder on a regular basis, you may qualify for a cash award. Call 800-793-6621. 800-793-6621.
Our roundtable continues in a moment, but first let's get a weather check with ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A few showers have been moving through the Suncoast this afternoon and this evening now. That activity not all that strong. You can see from the Van Wezel webcam, periodic showers moving through near Lido and also near Longboat now in northwest Bradenton up near Anna Maria Island, some showers and a few isolated thunderstorms. Notice this cell, too. Starting to intensify somewhat just to the northwest of Arcadia, pushing to the west at 10 to 15 miles an hour. So we'll keep about a 30% chance for a few passing showers in the mix through this evening. You saw that one shower just kind of fade away. We had some rain earlier near Lido and also near the south end of Longboat Key. That has since moved on. And the rain right there near Bayshore Gardens. Activity on Anna Maria Island slowly winding down as it pushes to the west. As I alluded to, though, there are other showers that will pop up through this evening. Most areas staying dry, however. 87 degrees right now. It's cooled down after a high today of 95 degrees. 73 on the dew point. Winds are calm. The pressure fairly high and holding steady. 95, there it is, the high, 1 degree shy of the record. 96, set back in 1991. This morning's low was 1 degree above average. No rain officially at the Sarasota-Brayton Airport. And as far as the satellite and radar imagery goes, you can see this line of clouds here extending into the Atlantic, stretching all the way through the central Bahamas and down into Cuba. That's a line of low pressure, if you will. It is drifting slowly off to the west, but the moisture supply from this is slowly working its way back into our picture, and that means better chances for showers and storms in the afternoon and evening as we head into the weekend. So keep that in mind. There will be some dangerous lightning taking place. Well, in the tropics, we are watching two areas, one right here in northeast of Puerto Rico for the possibility of development. It appears that there's some deep convection developing near the center. The Hurricane Center only gives it about a 20% chance developing over the next several days as it moves basically off to the northwest. Another area of concern is this large complex of showers and storms out here in the East Atlantic. This looks like it's going to head off to the west now. It had been moving more to the northwest, but it bears watching over the next week, midweek next week. We'll have a better idea as to where that may be heading. More than likely, it will turn into our next storm. The next storm's name is Ian. Ian is the next name up. For us, the water vapor imagery, which shows the moisture content into the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere, we're talking 30,000 feet, and you can see that dry air is all around still our area. So the showers that have been popping up have not been all that impressive in terms of producing a lot of rainfall and producing a lot of lightning either. Now, we are going to see a little bit of a switch on Friday, more of a southeasterly component, and that will start to moisten things up a bit. So there'll be plenty of moisture in the atmosphere for the heavier rain that we normally see this time of year in the afternoon and evening, and that will continue, I think, on Saturday. Sunday, maybe the timing of the storms change a little bit. 94 in Dallas. It's a hot one today over the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic coast states. 91 in Washington, but it was 96 degrees there just 2 hours ago, setting record highs over parts of the Mid-Atlantic coast. For boaters, winds out of the east, they'll turn to the north at 5 to 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet. And a light chop out there. The water temperature now at 84 degrees. UV index will be high, so plenty of sunscreen if you're heading to the beaches. The low tide upcoming just before midnight tonight, and sunset in just a few minutes, 7:42. Isolated showers continue this evening, otherwise partly cloudy, 75 for your low. And tomorrow, a warm afternoon, highs a little bit above average, a 40% chance for storms. The extended forecast looks like this. Good chances for showers and storms running in through the weekend and throughout all of the work week. Al will be right back after this.
It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected with new features that make it easy to submit photos, share stories on Facebook and Twitter, and save stories for reading at a later time. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
When you have credit card debt, the debt suckers, high rate and high pay, never leave you alone.
Debt is really sucking the life out of them. He's picking up the phone.
Oh, no, not Consolidated Credit.
With one call, they can lower their credit card rates.
And consolidate their bills into one low payment.
They'll pay off their debt in no time.
Call Consolidated Credit now.
Because debt sucks.
Call 800-201-0230. That's 800-201-0230. Call now.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to their heart or lungs. Did your IVC filter move, break, or cause organ damage? The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, even death. If you or a loved one suffered serious complications, call IVC Filter Helpline now. You may be entitled to compensation. IVC filters are designed to prevent blood clots. If your IVC filter moved or broke and you suffered heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, or if a loved one died as a result, call IVC Filter Helpline today. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You'll pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone. Call IVC Filter Helpline now.
Please call 800-897-6764. That is 800-897-6764.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPV.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're discussing the Siesta Promenade with Todd Mathis, Director of Development at Benderson Development. And joining us by Skype is Sura Kochman, an organizer for the Pine Shores Neighborhood Alliance. And Todd, why don't we talk a little bit about this project and give our viewers some kind of idea of what it will be about?
Sure. So our project is a 24-acre parcel of land that, again, we purchased about 10 years ago. It was a mobile home park. It had about 300 mobile homes. There was a gas station on the corner, and there was a small office building. What we're proposing is redevelopment in the urban service boundary. It's a mixed-use project. We'll have retail, a hotel, and residential on the property together. The retail part is of 140,000 feet as proposed. To put it in context, it's smaller than Pelican Plaza, the property we've been redeveloping at Beneva and 41 over the past year or so. It's about 100,000 feet smaller than the Landings Shopping Center. It's smaller than Paradise Plaza at Bee Ridge and 41. It's about a quarter the size of Southgate Mall. And then the residential part would be 85 feet in height, which is a 7 to 8 story building that we were talking
With
about.
the residential part, is this high-end condos, or is it more affordable for middle-class working people?
We're going to build to the market, and we're going to take our time to build those 500 units is our plan today. The wonderful thing of working for Benderson Development, a family-owned business, is they don't rush into building anything. So we're going to build to the market depending on where rents are and purchase price points are.
You know, when we do stories about development in Sarasota County or the environment or whatever, the most common response that we get on our Facebook page is people are just basically tired of Sarasota becoming a concrete jungle and all the development and all the traffic. I mean, we could go pages and pages of comments about that. So they hear another development in an area that already has significant traffic issues, and you know the kind of comments we're going to have on our Facebook page tomorrow.
Sure. So, you know, obviously, we're not deaf to those concerns, and we try to work closely with the neighborhood, and I've spent a lot of time in this neighborhood. We had a project proposed 2 years ago, which was all retail, and try to be responsive to those concerns on the one hand. On the other hand, we know as a community we are growing. Over the next 5 years, we'll see 8% population growth, and we've seen unemployment decline every year since 2010, and our population grow because the economy is growing. So, you know, I guess from our point of view, we like redevelopment a lot. And this is a redevelopment project at its core. There were 300 mobile homes. That's the current zoning on the property. That's what could be there today. There was a gas station on the very corner with driveways 100 feet from the intersection. That could be there today without any real effort in terms of going through this process with the neighborhood and with the county.
So, sir, what's your reaction to this?
Well, Todd has listened to the neighborhood. He's had a meeting on Siesta Key with the Siesta Key Association. Everybody has had consistent concerns about the density of what is being proposed. And even though Benderson listens, they are still not budging on the amount of residential, over 500 units that they plan on putting on the site. And let us also not just think it's affecting the Pine Shores neighborhood. This traffic is going to impact, and density is going to impact surrounding neighborhoods. People trying to go to shop, those who live on Siesta Key, people who want to frequent merchants that are on Stickney Point Road. It will have an economic impact. It will also affect the lives of surrounding neighborhoods. Take, for example, the Esplanade, the new development that's across from Gulf Gate. The traffic backs up through 41 from the bridge all the way down Clark Road. Those residents aren't going to be able to get out of their homes. They're going to have to then go out via Constitution, which is going to impact the Philippi Gardens neighborhood. So it tends to spill further and further out. I'm concerned that the traffic analysis that was submitted by Kimley Horn to the county was only looking at traffic on a Thursday between 4 and 6 p.m. and 2 hours on a Saturday. That is not the typical traffic pattern that happens in this area. You have folks that are traveling to the beach in the morning. You have folks that are traveling there all day, as well as traveling at night to go see sunsets. More attention needs to be paid, and more realistic traffic studies need to be done that really would portray the true nature of what is taking place in this intersection.
Well, let me make sure that I have it straight. Your concerns about traffic are twofold. It is the traffic in the immediate area around the project, and then adding the amount of traffic to the general area, which is already quite congested.
Correct.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Todd, isn't that a legitimate point? I mean, anybody who drives around here, especially in season, is exasperated by the traffic. And so when we add more and more, what are we doing to mitigate this?
We totally understand and grasp the concern. When we did our initial traffic study, we didn't count Saturdays because that's not ordinary in development. That's not something DOT would normally require. But the residents expressed concern, the county expressed concern, so we went out and counted it. And we didn't pick the hour that we counted traffic for 24 hours. The peak that we saw, we just added the project trips from our project. And we're not taking credit for the trips that used to be there with the 300 mobile homes and the busy gas station. We just looked at the trips that'll be associated with our project. We're not building a shopping center that's a regional shopping center, destination retail. People aren't going to come across town to go to the shopping center. The shopping center is going to serve the neighborhood it's in. So it's going to catch a lot of the pass-by trips that are already there.
Okay. Is there room to compromise here? Obviously, the residents, local residents, it seems like they would like to downsize the project. How much flexibility does Benderson have at this stage in the development project?
Our sincere concern is always to work with the neighborhood, and we're going to endeavor to do that.
Let's negotiate here a little bit.
Because we've been negotiating before and after this program. So, that's always our goal, is to work with the neighborhood, because we're going to be their neighbors for a long time, and we want them to support the project after it's open. So, I think we are working through that compromise process. But we also want to make sure we right-size this project in terms of the residential that's there, so it is successful, and that we're right-sizing the retail so that it is successful. We pride ourselves on very successful projects, so we're not going to compromise just to compromise. We're going to compromise if we also know the project can be a success.
Sir, where do you see this compromise going? I mean, you laid out some concerns about the height and density of the project. I mean, where do you see the happy medium?
Well, if Benderson were to develop this property according to the CG Commercial General Zone, they would be allowed 250 residential units, plus the 150-room hotel, plus their 140,000 square feet in retail. We feel that's more than adequate. That would address the density issues, that would address the height issues, and I think Benderson has been sensitive to keeping traffic off of the neighborhood streets. That is our goal. I'm hoping that with that 250 unit number in mind, that Benderson will feel comfortable enough to drop down their 500 unit substantially to get closer to that number. May I also add, there's another factor that we are sort of leaving out, and that this is on a hurricane evacuation route. That is it is a safety issue to a lot of people. We have a lot of senior citizens here getting emergency vehicles, be it police, ambulance, fire trucks, through a very, very congested area. Now to have more density there is of great concern to a lot of people, not only on the Key, but in the immediate area.
And that's another issue, but in terms of this 250 unit idea here, are we anywhere close to meeting somewhere in the middle?
Well, I think it's important to put the unit count in mix, the 500 units. It's 25 units per acre. There is density nearby us, which is approaching 25 units per acre. If you think of the 8-story buildings across from Philippi Creek, right next to the landings, that's 18 units per acre. The Ringling Shopping Center redevelopment, which is just in the news this evening, they're proposing almost 25 units per acre, plus 175,000 feet of retail on half the amount of property. And the other important thing here is the comprehensive plan designation for this property, commercial corridor, actually allows unlimited retail. So you could have far more retail than the 140,000 we're proposing. And we're offering to provide the right mix here. So we're looking at the 500 unit number. We're going to work with the neighborhood. I don't know where 250 fits in our view.
All right, well, let's take a break here, and when we return, we'll have a look at our full weather forecast.
From meeting curious lemurs to feeding big cats and hosing down rhinos, there's never a dull moment. And sometimes these amazing animals chime in. Tune in to Animal Outtakes to find out what they have to say.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
Attention, this is an important message for anyone who has taken Xarelto or Pradaxa. If you or a loved one took the blood thinner medication Xarelto or Pradaxa and was then hospitalized for internal bleeding, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to serious, even fatal internal bleeding. If you suffered a stroke, heart attack, or serious internal bleeding, or if a loved one died after taking Xarelto or Pradaxa, call us now. Our network of attorneys have years of experience fighting the big pharmaceutical companies and is ready to fight for you. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto or Pradaxa who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys is ready to fight for you. You won't pay a thing unless your case is settled. Call today for a free confidential consultation. Don't fight this alone.
Please call 800-928-6604. That is 800-928-6604.
The official salon of ABC7. Loose salon.
We'll have final thoughts with our roundtable in just a moment. Right now, let's get a check on our weather from ABC7 Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, I want to go back in time here. This is a historical day for 1900 Galveston hurricane. You may have heard about this. This storm was a devastating storm to the United States. It was a tropical storm as it made its way through Cuba, then into the Gulf of Mexico, developed into hurricane status, and then slamming right into Galveston as a Category 4 storm. It is now on record as the most dangerous hurricane ever to hit the United States, killing over 6,000 people. Estimates could be as high as 12,000, and a 15-foot storm surge occurred with this storm back in 1900. They didn't give names to storms back then. They didn't start naming the storms until the late 50s, but again, a devastating storm. You see the storm surge wiped out everything in its path, and again, they had no satellites, no radars there to warn them of the impending danger, and obviously a devastating storm. Most deaths ever recorded in United States history by a natural disaster there. Yeah, Anna Maria webcam showing a beautiful day today for the most part. A few showers this evening have been popping up here and there, and some photos sent in. This one from Dan, getting this of the Suncoast sunset that just occurred, or is occurring right now, not too far from right now. Titan radar picture showing this activity continue to develop and push off to the west. Nothing severe, nothing heavy at this point. Once in a while, we get an isolated lightning strike from one of the cells. We saw that up in northwest Bradenton just about a half hour ago with that cell. That has since pushed down into the Gulf of Mexico. Another one heading toward Terra Preserve and also I-75 and State Road 70. Some isolated activity as well into DeSoto County. We'll focus in on this. This is a moderate to heavy rainfall, but you'll notice no lightning showing up at this point. It's not to say that it can't generate some lightning soon as it makes its way off toward the west at 10 to 15. We had some rain near the airport too. That now over Sarasota Bay, pushing toward Longboat Key. 87 degrees right now, some clouds and a light shower near the airport. The dew point is at 73 and winds are calm. The pressure 29.99 inches. And that is rising slowly. The high today rose to 95 degrees. That's 1 degree shy of the record of 96. The average high, 89 degrees. This morning's low was 1 degree warmer than normal. We're watching two areas, one just northeast of Puerto Rico that has a slight chance of developing. This one has a better chance, 70% chance to develop over the next 5 days. But one thing to note on it, yesterday, right around this time, it had the path kind of moving off here. And now notice it's moving more to the west, and that's always a dangerous sign. We'll have to keep an eye on that. If it stays on a more westerly course, it could get into the Caribbean and then be a force down the road. As far as the satellite and radar picture goes for us closer to home, you can see this trough of low pressure producing quite a bit of cloudiness there over the Bahamas and Cuba right now. Some of that moisture coming back into play as we'll see that activity, I think, on the increase, more numerous storms for Saturday and Sunday, looks like, as we head into the weekend. Well, the RPM forecast model showing showers and storms scattered about this evening, and then more coming back tomorrow afternoon as that dry air slowly departs off to the northwest. We will see some scattered showers for football Friday night, tomorrow night. And then over the weekend, most of the day looks to be pretty good. And then we'll see those storms late in the day. The rain chances picking up at 50% for late day storms, both on Saturday and Sunday. It's been a hot day today in places like Washington. They were up to 96 degrees there just about an hour and a half ago. A bit cooler in Boston, 68 and 94 in Dallas, 88 in Denver now, and 78 in Kansas City. For boaters, pretty good weather. Winds will be out of the east, switching around to the north, 5 to 10 knots, and seas running 2 feet or less. A light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now warming up to 84 degrees. Beaches, you'll see a high right around 89. Low tide upcoming, 11:51, and then a high tide at 5:28. The forecast calls for an isolated shower or two this evening. Otherwise, partly cloudy, low of 75 degrees, which is close to seasonal averages. And then for tomorrow, a little bit warmer than average. A high temperature of 92. Better chance for those scattered late-day storms. And then the extended forecast does call for showers and storms in the mix all the way through much of next week with high temperatures into the upper 80s. Al will be right back after these messages. Stick around.
Today's Hooters word of the day is kick. Register today's word by midnight at mysuncoast.com, and you and 3 friends could be headed to a Bucks game in style.
Using baby powder or talc may lead to ovarian cancer. $72 million was awarded in a recent talc lawsuit after lawyers found secret internal documents showing that the baby powder manufacturer knew about the link between talcum powder and ovarian cancer for decades, but never told the public. If you were diagnosed with ovarian cancer after using talcum powder on a regular basis, you may qualify for a cash award. Call 800-793-6621. 800-793-6621.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, I have an important message. You may be entitled to receive disability benefits through Social Security. You'll be matched up with an advocate who will evaluate your situation, handle your application, deal with Social Security for you, and handle all appeals and hearings. Best of all, there are no upfront fees, so you pay nothing until you receive your benefits.
Call the Citizens Disability Helpline today for a free, no-obligation consultation.
Are the credit card bills closing in on you? Sick and tired of the constant struggle just to stay afloat? Shouldn't this be the year you get a fresh start? Well, now you can settle your debts with dignity and without bankruptcy, with zero upfront or monthly fees. Get the professional help at the Thomason Law Group and get a fresh start. It's easy to sign up. We do all the real work. Better than credit consolidation or credit counseling, the Thomason Law Group uses the power of legal professionals to settle your debts. You don't have to face this alone. We can help with an affordable monthly payment. Call now if you have over 15 grand in debt and settle your debts so you can have hundreds more each month. Don't put this off. Legal settlement can get you fast, easy debt resolution and let you get back to the important things in life.
Call the Thomason Law Group at 1-800-394-1667. That's 1-800-394-1667.
Welcome back. We are discussing the Siesta Promenade with our roundtable. And sir, let me go back to you because on one hand, you said that you've lived in this neighborhood for decades, and you've seen the traffic just increase to a situation that's intolerable right now. But on the other hand, you have a piece of property there with nothing on it, which I would imagine is an eyesore for you and other residents, and you probably want something done about it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're not saying Benderson should not develop the property, but they need to develop it in a way that's compatible with the neighborhood the need to be sensitive to the failed roadways that are surrounding it, and build something that's not going to affect the health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding communities. I think if they develop according to what they would be allowed under the commercial general plan, the 300 units, which would include 250 residential, 150 room hotel, plus the limited retail, I think that would work out well. Plus, the property as they have it planned now has zero green space. We could use some green space. Right now it's wall-to-wall concrete.
Right. Let me get one more question to you, and that is, what kind of response or reaction have you gotten to city, county officials about your concerns? Have they had an open ear? Have they been willing to take what neighborhood residents say into consideration? And do you think that they are sensitive to the community's thoughts that there is so much development going on in our area?
We really haven't had the opportunity to speak with anyone at the county on an official basis because we're precluded to do so. The commissioners will not speak with us because it's a quasi-judicial forum and they can't talk with us. So I would love to have a conversation, but we're not allowed.
So there's been no reaching out, no no discussion between the neighbors and the county and the city.
They're at the neighborhood workshop in our neighborhood. Todd Derry, the planner that's assigned to this, was present. He just sort of gave an overview on the project, but no questions were really addressed to him other than procedural.
All right, and Todd, I just want to give you the last word here because where does this go from here?
So we're headed into a phase of public hearings when residents will come in and I'll make our case for the project. We've had a lot of good dialogue with the neighborhood, and we certainly know there's a little work to do, and we're going to keep talking to the Pine Shores Neighborhood, Siesta Key Village Association, everyone who's affected. So we're going to keep working on the plan, and we'll end up in front of the county commission, and hopefully they can support the decision.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to thank both our guests for joining us tonight. Todd Mathis, the Director of Development for Benderson Development, and Sarah Kochman, an organizer with the Pine Shores Neighborhood Alliance. When we return, we'll bring you up to date on what is making news at this hour.
At SWC Properties, we pride ourselves in providing to you the very best in customer satisfaction, and the secret's getting out. Maybe that's why so many people have chosen to list their homes with our friendly and qualified agents. After all, it only makes sense to list with a growing agency that markets in so many places. To list your home with SWC, give us a call at our Bradenton office and ask for Matthew Rands.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back,